Welcome back to Forbidden Transformation. As most of you know, my name is Karen Holton, and I'm co-hosting from Alberta, Canada. And my co-host is Chris Matthew of Forbidden Knowledge News, and he is now located in Chile, Colorado. Our
Yes.
mission, our mission is to support and educate the people of Earth and to assist them to evolve and experience ET contact for themselves. In this way, we help to create and participate in the new positive timeline. In future episodes, we plan to offer more about our ET experiences, have guests with common experiences and goals, teach you more about the Quantum Health Transformation Program, and offer any news as it occurs. Chris, how are you doing today and how are you finding Colorado?
Oh, I'm doing good. Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you again for co-hosting with me on the show. Colorado's amazing. It's so much better atmosphere than I'm used to in Louisiana. I think that my vibrations mesh much better here than the swamps of Louisiana. So yeah, it's great. The mountains are beautiful. Going for a hike later. So it's living the life here. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
I'm so glad. It takes a lot of gumption to just pack up and follow your intuition and to go places. But boy, it sure worked for me. So I'm really happy about that. Chris, do you have any announcements for us today?
Yeah, I have a couple, and thanks again, Karen. First, I want to thank everyone that's watching, that checks out the show. You guys are amazing. We're going to keep doing this every other week, so look for Forbidden Transformation every other Sunday. Also, check out Forbidden Knowledge News. That is my show. You can find it on YouTube and all your popular podcast platforms, as well as lbry.com, just because YouTube has begun to do their little cleanse of any information that they don't find goes along with the narrative or they call now dangerous. I want to
Mm.
thank also C60 Purple Power. They are amazing. This product is it has turned around my health completely. It's an amazing super antioxidant. It scavenges free radicals. I have taken this for a few months now. I've lost over 30 pounds. I'm sleeping better than I ever have. I have more energy to do all the things I want to do. And you really should feel great too. So go check out their website. You can click the link in the description. Sometimes that doesn't work for people for some reason. Sometimes it does. If it doesn't work for you, go to c60purplepower.com. And you can use coupon code knowledge10 when you check out. That'll get you 10% off your order plus free shipping. So yes, that is an amazing product that I take every day, and I of course highly recommend it. And finally, anyone that's made donations to help the show recently, you guys are amazing. It's because of you that we're able to continue to bring you these amazing guests and information. And if you would like to make a donation, of course, the links are in the description. Everything is so much appreciated. And it's just appreciated you guys being here and checking out this information. So thank you again. And Karen, any announcements from you?
I have a few. I just want to say before I begin, C60 Purple Power is amazing. I've now been taking it about 2 months, and I started taking it to help support Forbidden Knowledge News. And my goodness, has my life changed. And I think the most biggest part is that I have very little brain fog. My memories are starting to come back more. My short-term memories improved, and I feel a lot better. So I just want to throw that in, and because it's amazing. It is really amazing. So I really recommend it too. So my announcements are, this is still a fairly new show. So I would really appreciate it if you would let your friends and your family know about it. Click the thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel. And thank you so much for being a part of this show, because without you, we don't have a show. And I really, really appreciate everything. And this particular episode, we've got a larger question and answer component. So please post your questions to the comment section. We're going to be doing a review today of the episodes done so far and then opening up discussion. So there'll definitely be, space to hear what you have to say or answer any questions you might have. And then we've got a few services. I want to tell you about Intuitive Time with Karen and Chris, which is available through my website. So you have a chance to spend some time with us. And, we can use our ability to connect with our higher selves to help you get information you need so that you can get started on a richer and more meaningful spiritual life. And I also offer services of consultation and support for spiritual matters. It doesn't matter what your persuasion or belief system is. And also, if you've had any kind of ET contact. And we are now offering a 10% discount coupon on all three of these services. Just use the code knowledge10. And again, this will all be in the description below. And also, please support our work by considering to buy one of my beautiful Zen Domes orgone generators. These are all handmade. They're exclusive of design. I designed them myself, and a friend makes them for me. And the Quantum Health Transformation Program is free, and there's a tremendous amount of free resources available on my website. Thank you, Chris. And so if you want to help support the work that we're doing, then please do purchase a beautiful orgone generator for your home. And again, all the links will be in the description below. And without further ado, let's move on to our review of the show so far. So episode 1 was called Beginnings, and both Chris and myself shared some of our spiritual adventures and ET contact. And we also presented some basic downloads that we had received from our guides. They're both very similar, but Chris's was a little different than mine. And I'm just going to give you a very brief overview of what my download was about. And the message was, watch for what you wish for. What do you spend your time thinking about? We create what we focus our attention on. And the current mess of the world is actually our doing, collectively, not individually. And because our thoughts and our fears are projected outwards. And the good news about that is we also hold the cure. So my guides tell me that our time left on earth is very short. We must act now. We know there's a genocidal agenda that's encapsulating all of us at this present time. And so it's really important to remember that our survival depends on us remembering that it's we the people. So that we need to recognize that we're all in the same boat, regardless of our circumstances. Whether we're black or white, rich or poor, famous or ordinary, it's time for unity consciousness. And this will launch and add momentum to the new positive timeline. Chris, do you have anything you want to add to that?
As far as my experience, it had both a very personal and kind of global message that came through, but the overall message that was for everyone is very similar to the one that you had. That there is an imminent threat on our planet. And it's dependent on the collective to make a difference. um, One of the things that was stressed to me, that anyone that feels that there's something wrong and they have something to offer, or anything that they can personally provide from their own talents or ideas, to do it now, because now is the time for the human race to kind of perk up and find the inner powers that have been locked up for so long. I think that this kind of era that we're moving into right now is going to be an era of great difficulty, but it's meant to push us through so that we can realize what's going on first, share the information, and then finally stand up and start making changes in our own lives, and then changes outward. But that is the main message. But there is a sense of urgency because just look around at what's unfolding in front of you every day. It's not getting any better. The information is being suppressed more and more, so it's getting harder to get a larger audience. But the good thing is, enough people have started to wake up before this happened to where the message is still spreading. We're finding ways around the censorship, but we don't know how long we'll be able to do that. But the important part is, as long as we have this opportunity, now is the time to take action. So that was the main message that I got from myself.
Wonderful, wonderful. Um, is there any comments or questions from the audience yet?
Let's see. Some welcomes. Breview said she made your oil, Karen, and it turned out great.
Oh,
Uh,
wonderful.
yes. And let's
Thank
see.
you.
Yeah, and Wendy says thank you for wishing her a happy birthday. But that's all. And yes, if you have any questions or comments, you want to join in the discussion, please feel free to leave anything in the chat, and we will get to you. But that's what
Mhm.
we got so far.
Okay, welcome everybody, and thank you for your kind comments. So I'll move into the recap of episode 2, which was Zen Apocalypse. And the first thing we did was we talked a bit about the hero's journey. When we step out on anything that is alternative to the mainstream narrative, we have some particular challenges, and we also end up with some amazing experiences, and we find helpers along the way. And it's interesting how when we embark on our journeys, our spiritual journeys, we go through a very similar process. And this process has been happening to people for thousands of years. It's really interesting that it's the same process regardless of our journey. And then we moved into how to have a Zen apocalypse. So with all the stuff that's going on today, these are very trying times, but there are things that you can do to make yourself feel a lot better and to be in it for the long haul and to be able to actually thrive in this environment of stress and tension. And so basically we went over how to restore the body temple, how to maintain and care for the body temple, how to understand the wisdom of the Nubby Ball. Now, that's a conceptual tool taken from Quantum Health Transformation, which is a free online 9-step lifestyle enhancement program that is available on this YouTube channel. There's a playlist called Quantum Health Transformation, and it's also available under the free resources tab of my website. Then we talked about cultivating courage to deprogram and reprogram our minds, because these are our minds. We can program them to suit ourselves, not the mainstream basic belief systems. We can take responsibility for our mental health. We can learn to fully relax and practice that every day. We can physically ground ourselves in nature daily, and we can achieve what is called heart coherence, and we can do that every day. So we actually also had a guided meditation on how to achieve heart coherence that is also posted. So I really encourage everyone to go back, and even if you've already seen them, start watching this series over again, because the reason we're bringing this to you is to help you in your personal evolution. You don't have to go out and do what we say. We're not a cult. There's no place to sign up. This is about your own evolution, but it'll give you some tips to help you get started in the right direction. And Chris, do you have anything to say about the hero's journey or how to stay Zen during these apocalyptic times?
Well, I love the how you put together Zen and Apocalypse because right now it's definitely It's what you would define as an apocalypse, but it's not what most people think of as a cataclysmic end of the world. Everything's being destroyed. It's more of an awakening and an awareness, and it's something that's sweeping globally. But the Zen part is the hard part. Right now, everyone, of course, first of all, if you're just first waking up to everything and coming around, good morning and welcome to some fun stuff. So, there's a lot of people right now that are just coming around to this, and there's fear behind it, there's confusion. They don't know where to start. So, I think the most important thing during these times is to have a sense of well being and not to worry about what's being pushed or the agendas or anything you're hearing on TV, because that's just going to make everything worse. It's going to, you know, make your own anxiety worse and make your health worse and everything else that follows. But what I would encourage people to do is seek the information that resonates with you. Don't seek out fear mongering information that's going to make you afraid, but something that's informative, that things that you need to hear. There's a lot of scary things going on that people need to hear about, but don't live in that fear. Use the information and kind of turn it into something positive. For instance, I cover a lot of topics on my show that are controversial, a lot of things going right now with the whole COVID op, some of the things that are going on around the world that will affect the planet very negatively if we don't do anything about it in the near future. Technological advancements that are not in our best interest. But all these things, they have to be put into perspective with first with what you're doing in your life, because you can't change any of that stuff before you get what's going on in your life, and you're afraid and you're living in fear and you don't know what to do. You got to stop for a second and take some steps. And that's where I advise, you look at Karen's transformation program, health transformation program. You look at some of the information in there to help guide you through your personal journey during some of these difficult times that we're going to have. But the largest killer is fear, is being afraid during these times. And if you can lose that, and can start making that first step. And I find as long as you're taking that first step and it's going into the right direction, that the universe kind of keeps guiding you in that same direction. And follow your instincts. If something doesn't feel right, it might not be. I always go with my first gut instincts are usually the correct ones. So it's good to follow your intuition and instincts right now, and keep an open mind, but also don't fall into the conspiratorial mess that is out there right now. Social media is full of these conspiracies that, how some of these, I guess, mainstream media outlets are saying that these are harmful. Well, I agree to a certain extent that some of these conspiracy theories may be harmful if you're looking at it the wrong way, if you're getting the wrong information, but they're still censoring free speech. You should be able to present the information, even if it's batshit crazy information. You should still have the right to be able to put it out there, like we always have, like we've always had free speech. And the danger is coming in when you're silencing those voices, because you may consider it dangerous to you, but it may be good information for somebody else. But you also have to be careful right now. The Another layer on top of that is the misinformation and disinformation agents that are out there intentionally, not your normal Joe going out there putting out conspiracy theories. This is organized factions, we'll say three-letter agencies and beyond, that put out certain theories to get people's hopes up, or to get people thinking a certain way, or to be afraid of something, or to be looking forward to something that's not there. It's just meant to put out confusion and further divide people. So just pay attention to the information and go with what resonates with you, and try not to be afraid right now. That's my best advice for that section.
Hmm. I also wanted to mention that the PDF or the PDFs that are mentioned and used to display the information on the Forbidden Transformation Show are available from my website under the PDF section. So I just wanted to remind folks about that. Do we have any comments or questions from our viewers, Chris?
Um, Someone's asking, Wendy asked what's going to happen on the 21st. I'm not sure. I haven't heard any, if this is a conspiracy theory or something that's going to happen on the 21st. Have you heard anything about the 21st, Karen?
Yes, not
Hey, what's
much,
going
but
on?
it is the dawning, the very first beginning of entering the age of Aquarius.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And please do watch Forbidden Knowledge News. Chris has some amazing shows that show the incredible links between what we experience in reality and the different horoscope systems or the numerology systems. You know, we're really living in a math-based reality here, and we're very connected to everything. So we're very excited to look forward to the coming of the age of Aquarius. So that's only a couple of weeks away. Now, I find that with shifts in energy and history, there's a bit of an overlap. So you may not see huge things happening in the very beginning that let us know without a shadow of a doubt that things have shifted. It'll start off small and incremental, and it'll grow over time. And during this time, we know the forces that are, let's just say, don't have our best interests at heart. They're in their death throes, and so they're going to throw out whatever they can, probably over the next year, even maybe the next couple of years. So it may not all look rosy, but we are definitely on a new track. And as Chris and I talk about, we also believe in the new positive timeline, which we'll talk a little bit more later on in this discussion. So that, Chris, do you know anything about the age of Aquarius?
I don't know much about astrology. I'm learning as I go, but I do know that, we're entering into what's supposed to be a better age and kind of an uprising and uplifting of consciousness and humanity. And that's, exactly what we see happening around the world. So, yes, of course, it's very exciting to enter these times, and you can see with your own eyes and feel what's happening around us, that the change is occurring. So yeah, that is very exciting.
And once we step out of the fear, wow, then we're into the wonder of it all. There's never been a more exciting time to be alive. So I'll just move on to the recap of episode 3, which was Making Contact with Preston Dennett. And in that show, we talked about methods for achieving astral projection and how people can use astral projection to make contact with their guides and other higher beings like interdimensionals, extraterrestrials, ultra terrestrials, and how astral projection can actually free us and heal us from health issues and also the harmful effects of technology, which we call EMF or electromagnetic frequencies, since the higher consciousness has a profound effect on the physical body. And Chris, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
Well, I would love to be able to astral project. I mean, that is every time I have a guest that can do it, even yourself, it's such an amazing experience it seems like it would be such an amazing experience to have. I've had my contact psychic communication experience, but, and it was, along with my contact, there was the aspect of it where I was actually consciously taken on what I perceive to be a ship. So I guess in a way that was astral projection. I have not been able to explore it anymore since then. I've still done some meditation, but I have not uh, made any more, I guess, headway into that realm. But it would definitely be something amazing to experience, and I'm something that I know is going to take a lot of practice and discipline to actually be able to achieve that. But I believe 100% that. Right outside the spectrum of our vision and consciousness is a whole other world, and it's more like the real world than we're in now. It's kind of like waking up from a dream, and you get to experience all the aspects of our interdimensional selves and reality, and the possibilities are unlimited, really. You can do anything, go anywhere you want, and make contact with everything from angels, spirit guides, extraterrestrials, anything that you want to make contact with. And it's an amazing skill to have, and I definitely believe that it is something that everyone can do with discipline. And there is a question here that kind of goes along with somewhat what we were talking about. Wendy also asked if she believes we're living in the Matrix. Now, the way I can answer that is I can just say yes, because I believe that, this is somewhat of a simulated reality. I don't know how it works. I do know that outside of what we consider this physical realm, we have our light bodies or our spirit bodies that seem to be just like in the Matrix, outside of a reality, and we're kind of plugged in, living this experience, um, learning from everything. And when we exit outside of the Matrix, that is the true reality, our true selves. And as far as if it's under some kind of control by AI or extraterrestrials, or we're just some kind of experiment, I don't have the answers to that. But I do know definitely that there is an aspect of this, a holographic aspect of this, a quantum aspect of this, to where, I mean, it's science that we just don't understand yet. And I think we're getting closer to understanding that reality does exist. And I think it scares the shit out of modern day academia that this stuff is coming out right now. But yeah, it's great. And that's really all I can say about that. I would really love to achieve that myself.
Oh, wonderful analysis, Chris. I got to tell you guys, I just had a really cool astral projection experience that just happened a few days ago. But first, I want to say, Preston Dennett, if you get a chance to read any of his books, he's just a friend of mine calls him a treasure trove of, psychic information. But anyway, after talking to Preston, I've been practicing a little bit more. I had this thing with the power lines where whenever I would get to the power lines, I'd zoom back into my body because I thought, oh, you can't go through them. And so I persisted through that. But one thing Preston recommended is that you try testing your reality from time to time. So for instance, if I push my finger against the wall, it doesn't go through the wall because in this 3D reality, I believe there's a wall there and I'm perceiving it as a wall. My finger doesn't go through. So I'm of the belief system that that astral projection, lucid dreaming, remote viewing, all of these things are facets of the same skill. And that's why, in this show and with quantum health transformation, we really push lifestyle because your body has to be have the components, say from a biologically appropriate diet, etc., in order to hold the frequency to be able to do some of this really cool shit. So if you look after your health, you not only feel better, but you're able to do some really cool stuff. So I got to tell you what happened to me. So I was doing some lucid dreaming And I went, yeah, am I asleep or am I awake? Like I couldn't tell. And I just kept my eyes closed and I pushed my fingers through the wall and it went through the wall. And then I went, oh my God, I wonder if I can push my fingers through the bed. So I pushed my fingers through the bed and it went through the bed. So I knew that that was my etheric self. But then I also went, well, wait a minute, I want to push my fingers through the bed, which is the surface I'm laying on right now, and I couldn't. So I was actually able to do both within the same conscious experience. So I really encourage people to practice, and it's really important to just believe it's possible. I think that is the sort of key to opening the door, believing that you can do it and believing that it's possible. So the next area I want to focus on is while I'm in those states, healing myself. That's something that I really, really want to do. Not only will it save me thousands of dollars and not having to go see different alternative practitioners, but no one can do the job that we can do for ourselves. So I thought that was pretty cool. Is there anything anyone else wanted to ask before we move on, Chris?
See, Wendy has another question. When you die, will you go to the light? She also says this is her last time on Earth. She will not be coming back. Now, I've interviewed plenty of people with near death experiences, and they're all different. Some of them have a light, some of them don't. Some of them just end up in a different place, a different ethereal realm. Some of them have terrifying experiences. It is different for every person because I believe it's linked to that person's particular life experiences and consciousness, and what they were exposed to as their incarnated soul when they have this near-death experience. So I think everyone's is different, and the light. I heard sometimes that there is a Dr. Zinzer believe not Dr. Zinzer. I forgot his name. There's a hypnotherapist that believes there is a white light trap that we actually, if we go to the white light, we're going to be reincarnated and come right back, and then we're not supposed to go to the white light. So there's, I couldn't answer that. I just know that everybody's experience that I've spoken to is very different.
I would agree with you, Chris. In fact, I would take it in a little bit different direction, even, and add that we create our life and our death on our own terms. We are sovereign. And that's another reason why we have this show, is to help people realize that our bodies and our minds are incredible technologies, and we create it for ourselves. So again, we want to stay away from fearful thinking in this life and in the transformation to the next life. We're in charge, we're sovereign, we call the shots. And so rather than being too worried about, going to the wrong place, making the wrong decision while we're dying, you don't need that kind of pressure. It will be what you need it to be for your own learning. And as evidence, I would also put out there that there are a lot of people who do a life review. And when they do the life review, they're doing it for themselves. They're not doing it because God's standing there, an angel standing there judging us because of our lives. Our life review is for us. And so that's just the 2 cents I wanted to add to that.
Yeah, I can agree. I recently had Dr. Mary Helen Hensley, who will hopefully be our guest for the next show, and that's exactly what she said. A life review is for you. It's not for God to judge you. It's not for anyone else. It's for you to judge your own life and what you've done. So that is fascinating. I really love that aspect.
Yeah, it's very, very freeing. So I think too that when we pass through, well, while we're here, getting back to the question about the matrix, we chose to come here for our soul evolution. We came here to do this work. And I agree. I think this is my last kick at the can on Earth as well. I'm starting to get a bit tired of the nonsense. And I know there's other things that would bring me greater joy, but I needed to come back and do it again because there's some awesome life lessons that I have picked up that I don't know how I could have really understood without having to go through it. So should I move on to the next one, Chris?
Yeah, let's move on before we get to
Okay,
any more
let's
questions.
recap episode 4. Episode 4 was called Become the Champion. And this is a very cultural or sociological look at how we form community and how we conduct ourselves within community. And it's really important because the templates we've been given to us don't work. That's why there's so much conflict and fear. And so I'll give you an example. And again, I recommend that you go back and watch this episode. We talked about the victim triangle. The victim triangle includes 3 stations or 3 people or more. There's the victim, and the emotions tied into playing the victim role is sadness. And then there's the rescuer who always has to rescue everybody, and they come from a place of fear. And then there's the villain, who is the person we're either targeting, scapegoating, or maybe they really did screw up. And they generally have feelings of anger. None of those positions is effective. None of those positions is real. They are just forming a bit of a caricature of, or which is a small part of what we're capable of as humans. And so we use the Nubby Ball tool again from Quantum Health Transformation Step 9. It's very comprehensive on how to use that tool. And what it shows you is the infinite positions of light and shadow, and how sometimes people do the wrong thing for the right reasons. Some people do the right thing for the wrong reasons. It's really complex. And so by using this tool, we learn to see more of an issue or a situation or a way of being with more balance and a sense of the whole. It assists us to overcome our binary programming, which is our black, white, positive, negative, up, down, good, evil worldview, so that we can see things as they are. They're complex and they're dynamic. It allows a greater degree of self-analysis. It assists us to reconcile cognitive dissonance. It offers us a way to look at issues more analytically and less emotionally, and it expands our awareness, which is powerful. So again, this lesson is available in PDF format if you want to have your own copy. It's available from my website. And we also did a guided meditation for contact. And I'm going to be redoing this one and offering it back to you just all by itself, because it's so important and it's really not that hard to do. Sometimes we just need a little bit of help. So do we have any?
Yeah, I think we have. I have a question from PDMC333 asks, what's the best ways to prepare for lucid dreaming? Any techniques? Be for you, Karen.
Okay. Yes and no. Because we're individuals, we achieve things in a little bit different ways. But I think a key is a deep state of relaxation. And so I would do the heart coherence meditation. That puts you in a lovely, lovely place. You can do the ET contact meditation, or you can come up with something that does it for you. It could be listening to, say, 432 hertz binaural beats or Solfeggio music. You can do it in the bathtub. Use lots of Epsom salts and salt in the bathtub. I'll tell you what it does is it turns you into a bit of an energy battery so that contact is easier. There's so many ways of doing it, but I think the key is a very deep, deep state of relaxation, and where we let go of our preconceived notions, thoughts, beliefs, and we just feel being alive. It's just such a beautiful place to step out from. Would you add anything to that, Chris?
No, I just have to agree with it because it wasn't until I was able to fully relax and lose all my fear of the meditation process and what would happen, where I'd go, just go with it. It wasn't until then that I had my experience. So yes, definitely deep relaxation and just don't think about anything. Just kind of go with it. It's for me, it was just kind of trying, like falling asleep, but keeping my mind awake and aware. And I did use 432 hertz tones and breathing techniques. So yeah, that's pretty spot on.
And you're a big fan of the bath too, aren't you?
Yeah, so that's where I've had the majority of my experiences.
Mm-hmm. Very, very, very relaxing. And yeah, so I get it's practice. Really, we don't really appreciate the things that are handed to us, but the things that we work at, we really, really appreciate that. Was there any other questions or comments or?
Not at the moment, no. But
Okay,
yeah, if you
so
guys have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them in the chat.
mhm. So let's do a recap of episode 5, which was Positive Future with Alfred Lambermont Weber. And Alfred shared with us his first interdimensional contact experience. He introduced us to the concept of becoming an ET activist and the Star Dreams Initiative, and also the positive future equation, which we draw on. Positive future equals a positive timeline plus unity consciousness. So unity consciousness is when we stop looking at the things that divide us and we start looking at the things that unite us, the things we have in common. And there's so many things. And these things transcend what we look like, where we were born, how much money we have. Very important. And the positive timeline, again, that goes back to the download I shared at the beginning of this show and in episode 1. And that is, we need to focus on what we want, not on what we don't want. We want to focus on a new reality. And I think it's important that in my belief system, there are many timelines, because we have, and they're often used for people to form conflict. But the truth of the matter is when we can come to that position where we accept that other people have truly different realities as us, you can let them be who they are, and then we can focus on what we want. And so the new positive timeline simply involves spending some time every day imagining what paradise on earth looks like to you. And it may not be identical to what it looks like for me or for Chris, but it's going to put us right in that proper resonant frequency to start creating a new timeline. And the more people who step into it and add to it, the stronger it gets. And I also think this might be tied in a little bit with the new dawning of the age of Aquarius.
You know what I love
So,
to do to help me with this aspect of it is whenever I'm going out and about my day, I don't I stop looking around at people with masks. I don't notice when anyone else is doing. It doesn't. I just go about what I'm doing. If I have to go somewhere, of course I have to put on my mask, but I don't get upset about it anymore and complain to myself the whole time. This is fucking stupid. Why am I wearing this? You just have to put yourself in a positive state of mind and make the best of the situation until you can make it a different situation. So if you're going out and about and everybody's wearing masks and you're pissed off because you got to go into the store to buy something, you got to put on this stupid mask. Just, everybody's doing it right now. Everybody has to do this because we haven't reached the point to where we've revolted yet. We haven't stood up in the streets and demanded that this bullshit stop. And that's what needs to happen. But in the meantime, don't let it get to you. That's all I got to say.
mm-hmm. And do any of our viewers have anything they want to add to that?
Let's see. Oh, Cheryl has a question for me. Chris, have you had any more contact or updates since your initial one? Well, so I have not spoken directly with my guide that I spoke with the first few times, but I have had tons of information downloads and experiences that I didn't have before that, as well as a new sense of intuitive feeling to where I can sort of sense I can sense people's energy and feelings a lot more than I could before. I mean, it was, it was nothing like it was before. I'm much more sensitive to environment and people around me, and I do get information that comes out of nowhere a lot, and I'm pretty sure that it didn't come from my own brain. But I was also told by Laird that I don't need to contact them anymore, that I have access to this. It's all through your higher self. It's through your connection to the ether. It's your, it's readily available. But if I ever need them, or if there's a situation that it is possible that I could come into contact with them again. And I was told that I will continue to have experiences. So looking forward to whatever happens.
Oh, yes, very, very good. I also am just kind of plugged in all the time, unless I want a specific experience going back to the ship or meeting with one of my guides. I'm very fortunate. I've got a number of different kinds of guides, angels, ETs, things like that, interdimensionals. I can contact, but I don't need to. It just comes. It just comes, and it comes quicker and quicker and quicker the more we allow it to come. And I think the biggest pitfall to that is in the past, where I would doubt myself or second guess myself and go, oh, Karen, come on, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to do it that way? Blah, 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 blah. And I got to shut that off and go, no, I'm going to go with this. And it always, always, always turns out better than I ever could imagined it. And that kind of ties back into, are we in the matrix? Our higher self will present anything we need to help us to make the progress and to have the kind of life that we're here to achieve. And so there's so much overlap in everything. But the reason we try to bring you every kind of skill from all different directions that will help you out to be more sovereign, which means you rule yourself. You decide what's right and wrong, and you can reach out and you can have these amazing support systems as well. Was there any other questions or anything you wanted to say, Chris, before I move on?
Let's see if I have. Oh, I do just want to address this question briefly. Wendy Johnson asks, "Do you believe Biden won the election?" I don't believe any president ever won an election. They're all selected, in my personal opinion. Even Trump, I believe he was just a pawn to kind of get Americans hopeful for a little while, and then the next one comes in just to replace him, just as another talking head for the corporate interests, for the big elite families that really run things. So yeah, no, I don't think him or any other president ever won an election. So I just wanted to address that one.
That's a good one. I myself have a little bit of a stronger opinion, and this again is my opinion, and that is that the whole world is run by psychopaths and criminals, and you have to.
Oh, I can agree with that.
And you have to be a psychopath and a criminal just to get into the races. And so, as what is becoming really obvious as this pandemic unfolds for all of us, is we're seeing how many dirty, rotten scoundrels are using it to suppress us, hold us back, and put a lot of money into their pockets while we all go bankrupt. So I'm not going to say any more about that, but that's my political take. They're also, they can pretend to be great, but they're all sociopaths and criminals, and they're a bunch of dirty, rotten scoundrels. And that's all I'm going to say about it.
Oh, here. That's a great answer.
Thank you. So shall we move on to recap episode 6?
Sure.
Okay, that was all about alien implants. Now, some people want to keep their implants, and their implants give them an edge. Hey, we're not going to argue with that. We're just talking about nefarious implants here, and we covered it very comprehensively. And if you want a copy of the PDF, again, it's available on my website. So just in brief, alien implants can be etheric, energetic, holographic, genetic, biologic, and synthetic. There's a lot of options out there. And alien implants can include AI, nanotechnology, bioengineering, and crystalline formations. And they're produced by interdimensional beings, ETs and humans. The whole transhumanist agenda on Earth is pretty much being unrolled by humans. Some are beneficial, but most are not, as they infringe on our spiritual, mental, and emotional and physical health. So when we presented the information on physical implants, we provided 6 pages of information and images so that you can see what they look like and who's talking about them and how they were discovered. The etheric implants, there's 5 pages of information and images about how they affect us emotionally and physically. Mentally and emotionally. And then there was holographic implants, which were very interesting because these affect our shared reality in order to control us. And then we talked about the alien implant remedy, which is a process you can use to clear yourself of all of these different kinds of implants. And so that was very interesting, lots of information there. And again, I recommend you all go back and watch episode 6 and get a real good understanding, because some of us have gone for medical help for different conditions for years, and they can't seem to find anything wrong with us, or we have a failure to thrive, or we find that we're doing things that we don't want to do, or just that we're not making the spiritual connections we want. There have been all kinds of beings through all kinds of time that have done experiments, that have, put different things. This is not to be feared. This is just stating, it's just like as though if you had a parasite, you would want to get rid of that parasite because it's absorbing either your nutrition or your energy. So think of these as being different kinds of parasites, and we want to get rid of them. So, Chris, do you have anything you want to say about that?
I have a question from, let's see. Bisexual lizard people asks, could implants hold information to be relayed back to the group that put them in you? And I definitely believe that they could.
Yeah.
What's your answer on that?
Oh, absolutely. There's a number of purposes they serve. One of them is tracking, just keeping data on us, and not to mention any dirty, rotten scoundrels, but what they're unrolling for us today, and they want to give us a little jab, I believe actually falls into that category. But we've got some genetic, they're energetic implants on our genetics that are maybe just there to hold us back, because we're just coming into ourselves. And so for a long time, we serve purposes for other beings, be they energetic, be they ET. Even the rulers of this world have wanted to hold us back, because by holding us back, they appear and feel more elevated. There's so many different ways of looking at this. I really encourage people, if you haven't done so already, go back and watch episode 6. It's a lot of really good information.
Definitely. Yeah. Great stuff in there.
Was there anybody else have any questions before we move on?
No more questions at the moment. Let's see. Angels Among Us asks, as Canadians, how do we get C60 purple power at a reasonable price? And the only answer I can give you is, unfortunately, you don't. The stuff is expensive, but it is worth it, because what is your health worth to you? You don't need much. You need a teaspoon a day, and a medium-sized bottle will last you a very long time. And in that amount of time, imagine how much improvement you could have to your health. I mean, it could replace going to a doctor for hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Is your health worth it? That's my answer to that.
I would agree, Chris. And in Canada, although we have pretty good medical coverage, it doesn't cover the really, really good alternative healing modalities, which are very expensive. You could be paying over $100 Canadian, $150 Canadian every time you go see one. Also, I actually personally don't like pharmaceuticals at all and haven't used them for a very long time. If it's man-made, I don't trust it because nature and planet-made is good enough for me. It served us for thousands of years. Why not continue to use it today? And so, but even if you're taking some allopathic treatments through the medical and some of your prescriptions are paid for, it's only the crappy prescriptions that are paid for. The better quality prescriptions and procedures are not paid for. So where I'm going with this is, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. I myself have been extremely ill many times in my life, many, many times. And when I was lying in bed in more pain than I could bear, I realized if someone had reached out and gave me $10 million, it wouldn't make any difference because I was too sick to get out of bed. You can't put a price on your health. So the other thing too is not all C60s are created equally. You know, the type that Chris and I are talking about, the C60 purple power, is not made through chemical reactions. It's not made with solvents and toxic ingredients. You want to make sure it's 99.99% pure and that it was created in a natural process. Then your body can recognize it and use it. And yes, it's expensive. I'm not going to argue with you about that, but I'm going to tell you, for me, it's worth it to say no to restaurants, toys, technology, toys, all kinds of things that we spend our money on all the time. We don't even bat an eye about it. You figure you add those up over a month or over 2 months. But the reality of it is, what price can you put on your health? What price can you pay on having amazing spiritual experiences, which C60 also helps with because it clears all the crap out of your brain. And the other thing I want to say about it is it's all a matter of how you look at it and what you want to spend your money on. But it costs them, it's a great deal of effort to produce this. And we're all worthy to have, money is just energy and the trade is good. And I haven't found any place in Canada that compares. And another thing too is I also pay extra for the shipping to have it come by the more expensive shipping, because the American Postal Service, it took me a month to get my first bottle. And after that I went, no, from now on I'm paying for courier. So I don't know what to say, folks. All I know is that this is like a great treasure and it's worth the sacrifice for you to get it. And that's all I can say about it. Would you agree, Chris?
I agree 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the stuff.
So I want to recap episode 7, Accessing Hidden Realms with Sonia Barrett. Oh, she's great. Another great guest. And again, go back and watch episode 7 if you haven't seen it. And Sonia shared her first interdimensional contact experience. And she agrees that you don't have to have special skills and that everyone can learn to make contact. She also brought out that it is tied in with your health. So you need the body temple to be operating on a optimal level so that you can do these things. And as she brought out, which is I think a really valid point, you know, are we sovereign over ourselves? Are we mature enough to make positive decisions on what we're going to eat and what we're going to do with our lives? Because if we don't think we're worth that kind of treatment, then where do we have a spot at the table with ET? And I agree with her 100%. And she also talked about how people benefit themselves by making contact with other realms. And we talked a little bit about safety practices.
Yes, that was an excellent conversation. I always enjoy talking to Sonia. She has such great insights into exploring self and your inner self, and all the amazing things that you can achieve by doing so. So yes, great episode. Definitely go back and watch that one.
Mm-hmm. What we're doing is we're sort of we're going to revamp the show a little bit coming in the new year, where we're going to actually have less teaching and more input from you folks. But we have the show every 2 weeks. So it's about twice a month. One of those will be discussion and teaching, and the other one will always be a guest. So if we don't have time to take your comments when we have a guest, please forgive us. And please tune back in 2 weeks for the lesson and the interactive portion, where we would love to hear anything that you have to say. Was there any questions about episode 7, Chris?
No, we have no more questions. Let's see. Oh, I have a funny comment here. Bisexual lizard people thanked me, said that they should change their name for serious conversations like this. You know what? Bisexual lizard people works for me. So, whatever you want to do. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm not judgmental either. I think that the more people who stand in their sovereignty, regardless of what that looks like, the better. So yeah, I don't have a problem. And maybe some people are bisexual lizard people, and they deserve a seat at the table and love too, right?
Yeah, whatever makes you happy.
Whatever floats your boat, exactly.
Right.
So that's about the end of today. Before I basically sum things up, is there any other comments, Chris, that you have, or things you want to say? Or
No, I just want to thank everybody in the audience for participating. It's a great discussion. Thank you, Karen, again for providing the platform and the show. And I look forward to next time. It was great talking with you and everybody in the audience.
And thank you, Chris. You're a great co-host. I really enjoy working with you, and I value your wealth of information. You know a little bit about everything. It's amazing, and I really appreciate you too. And I do appreciate you viewers out there. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're live or whether you're watching the replay. I appreciate you so much. You really make my day. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
And so, sorry, Chris.
No, I was just going to say, we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you. Me too, everybody. So what we offer and what to expect. For those of you who are new to the show, we have bi-weekly, which means every 2 weeks, Forbidden Transformation with Karen and Chris. And it's always on a Sunday at 12 noon Pacific, 1 o'clock Mountain, or 2 o'clock Central Time on this YouTube channel. And our next show is December the 20th. Chris and I also offer consultation and support services, which are available from my website. And we now have a Forbidden Transformation Facebook group. It's small, but it's growing because it's a private group, and it's meant primarily for people who view the show, followers of the show. And we offer peer-to-peer support. And please do let us know if you would like to moderate. That would be really awesome. And I want to thank everybody for their emails. I will continue to do my best to respond, but sometimes I can't get to them all. And if you would like to contact us, the best way is actually through our designated email for this show, which is forbiddentransformation@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Any questions that you didn't have a chance to ask if we were live, or that come up for you during the replay, please do reach out to us. And that's about it. Again, our next show is Forbidden Transformation, episode 9. We will have a returning guest. We don't have he or her confirmed yet, but it will be someone really great. I can guarantee that. And it will air December 20th, again at 12 noon Pacific time, 1 o'clock Mountain, 2 o'clock Central, or 3 o'clock Eastern on this YouTube channel. And all of the links to our information and our services will be in the description below. So until next time, Chris and I wish you much light, love, and happiness. Thank you.
Have a great day, guys.